Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode in the Road to Glory career mode. Today's episode, as we begin it by showing you the league table, is purely league football based today. We haven't got so long left until the end of the season, and we do of course have the semi-final against Watford to look forward to coming up in the next episode. So today's episode purely focused on league football and trying to see out the season. Right now, we're doing pretty well. We're sat top of the table with Preston following us in behind, trying to claw back the points, but we'll see if they're able to do it in this episode. The first game against Bristol Rovers, and we didn't start off very well at all in this episode. I mean, when you've got stuff like this happening, I've got to admit, today's episode was a little bit frustrating for my team, especially I feel like the run that we're currently going on in the FA Cup, of course, the semi-final awaits. That's all well and good. But I do feel like it's having an impact on the players. They just felt a bit tired, a bit, short, really, in what I was expecting of them. I mean, that you can't really do too much against. It's just unfortunate that it hit the crossbar, then the post, and then bounced back again. So you just have to really say that that's a little bit unlucky. But I had to name a little bit of a weaker side for the game here today. And that was kind of frustrating, because obviously when you're this close to trying to secure yourself a League One title, you want your best players playing. So having to name a slightly weaker side was not what I was hoping for. However, we were trying to fight our way back into the game. We were 1-0 down, frustratingly, and we were doing everything we could to try and grab that goal to bring us back level. And it wasn't until 8 minutes from time when we found substitute Mitchell van Bergen, and he cut inside on the left foot, and he did what he does best in this Grimsby side, and curled us back into the game at 1 apiece. Honestly, it was the least we deserved from this first game. We were not fantastic, but we didn't really do too much wrong defensively. And the first real chance that they got, they scored from Bristol Rovers. And that was pretty much their highlight of the game. So defensively, I didn't feel like we were terrible. And a 1-0 defeat didn't do us justice, I didn't feel like. So I was kind of a little bit glad to see us get back into the game. But more importantly, just relieved. Because as you can see here by the match facts, it was fairly even. But it wasn't really like either side dominated. So I felt like a draw was a fair result from the game itself. And that's what we would take away from it. So following that, we took on Charlton at home. We went 1-0 down, Taylor scoring first before McNeil equalised. I believe we went on to score a second. McNeil again with his second of the day. And it was nice this one as well because we managed to put our full-strength lineup out for that game. And it was just important that we got the 3 points, more or less. We were 37 games in. This is, of course, the 38th you're likely to see right now. And it's an important one. It's top of the table clash. Preston second, us top going into this, and I've got to say, we didn't have our full-strength team. We had a few missing players. Both our first choice and second choice goalkeepers were out on international duty. McNamee and, of course, Watson, the Scotsman, as I like to call him. And we were 4 points ahead of Preston going into game. So our third choice goalkeeper started. We also, I believe, didn't have the full strength that I was hoping for in the way of strikers. I don't think we started Weyer. And I don't think we had Kubo either. I think it was Janssen and Thomas had to start the game for us. So, yeah, not what I was hoping for when you're taking on top of the table. You can see Weyers on the bench there, and it was Thomas and Janssen who would start. Also, McGuinness and Hughes on the wings in place of course, McNeil and Mitchell van Bergen. So, missing some very key players in the side for this game. Obviously, as well, the goalkeeper, like I mentioned, Gray starts in goal for his first appearance for the club. One of our youth academy players. Every goalkeeper we've actually got, barring one, I think Russell is the only one who isn't a youth academy player, which is really cool, in fact. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried because he's still a decent overall, sitting at 60 rated. But it's just more about the fact that we didn't have our first choice or our second choice goalkeeper, you know. And I wondered if that was going to make a bit of a difference to the game itself. Preston's side looks like that. Lewis Malt on the bench alongside Ben Pringle as well on the bench. No place in the starting 11 for him. But I was really worried about Donald Johnson and Harrop as well. Those two really did cause me problems in that 3-3 draw. Actually, Brown as well. I don't think Brown's playing. So he was another one who was a bit of annoyance really when we played against them last time. So going into game, top of the table versus second, I was quite happy to at least get a point from this one. I was thinking a point, if we do that, we match it, we'll still stay top quite convincingly. The one thing we can't afford, though, is a defeat. And we've had some excellent games against Preston in the past. I was looking forward to this. And Ethan Cox should have scored the opener inside 18 minutes. But a great save by Preston's #1. And I've got to say this. Although my team wasn't exactly how I'd hoped, they did me proud. They really did. They fought hard in this game. It was a tough one. Preston going close with 10 minutes to go. You can see right there. We were just trying to battle away and see what we could do. And then from the goal kick, we found Garcia. You can see, look at the bars on some of these players, by the way. Their fitness levels just dropped massively. And I was out of changes as well as Weyer came on. finding Shaw. Shaw continuing the run. He finds Wes Thomas completely through. He's basically got nothing left, but he has just enough to put us 1-0 in front with 6 minutes to go here at Blundell Park. And all I'll say is this right here is a title-winning performance. If you're playing and you're struggling, and we're not playing the greatest football we've seen of our side as of this season, having tired legs, having to fight hard, if you can find that goal just enough to get you the win, that is the hallmark of a title-winning side. I'm not sure what Gray was doing here as he palmed it straight back into the danger area. Maguire back towards Earl, who should have, for me, put it in the mixer rather than trying to shoot. And he wasted the chance for them. But honestly, I couldn't really be prouder of how the team played there, especially some of the young players that we've got in the team. You know, Gray coming in for his first appearance of the season against second-place Preston. Not really having a lot to do, but when he did what he needed to do, apart from that final little mix-up there. And ultimately, to get the win, it opens up the gap towards that lead, and it means that the title itself, hopefully, will be in our hands come the end of the season. How hard we've worked this year, I know obviously it's great to go on that FA Cup run that we are on. I just don't want it to affect us and us lose the title. So after that, we were 7 points clear with only 8 games remaining of League One football. We were also 15 points clear of third place. So I was pretty confident to say that we will be playing Championship football next year. Then it was the turn of Coventry, who visited us here at Blundell Park. I felt really confident. Back to a full-strength side. 4 minutes in, we went 1-0 down. Bearing in mind as well that Coventry going into this game were actually 17th in the league. So you're expecting this one to only really go one way, and that was us to win the game. They went 2-0 up, though, 36 minutes in. So things not going to plan here. We did pull a goal back, and it looked like we were going to be able to get ourselves back into this. McNeil scoring in the 63rd, but they added insult to injury in the 86th with Bakayoko scoring to make sure that they would get the win. So great performance against Preston to get the win and get the 3 points, but then we threw it all away with the game against Coventry. Fantastic. So, yeah, we were back to 4 points in front of Preston because they won their game, meaning that heading into this one against Scunthorpe, we were still wanting to get these wins. You can see right there, 7 more games remain, and we are 4 points clear. So we needed the win here. And we started off really well. McGuinness on the right, trying to find a way through. Eventually tries to cut it back. It was quick reactions from the goalkeeper who put it back into the mixer. Didn't really give us too much of an opportunity, though, as Rodney Jansen picks up the loose ball here. Lays it to Hessenthaler. He cuts back inside. What a pass this is, by the way, from Mitchell van Bergen. Straight into the feet of Jansen. First time. And the Dutchman makes no mistake with the finish. And we took the lead inside 17 minutes. It's so important that when you've got your best players there available, I'm telling you right now, you do genuinely see the difference that the likes of Mitchell van Bergen makes, the likes of McNeil, even Tim Weah. You know, the 2 top scorers currently in our team are Van Bergen and Tim Weah. And without them, it is so clear the difference. It really is. They're clearly too good for this league. They're probably going to be too good for the Championship, honestly. I'm expecting to see, you know, numerous offers coming in for these players when we do eventually get into the next season. But it's just kind of crazy to see the aspect of how good these guys are and how much of a difference they actually make to our team. If we are to get to the final of the FA Cup, they are going to have to play a Stormer. I can't wait to show you, obviously, because it is going to be live. I'm going to live comment, so hopefully we will see ourselves head through to that one. But more importantly, it was about bouncing back from the Coventry defeat in the right way. And we went 2-0 up here after a nice cross, whipped into the middle. And I believe it was Hessenthaler who got his head on this one to make it 2-0. But it's all about the delivery from that right-hand side. You have to give credit where it's due. Watch this for a cross. It comes in from McGuinness, puts it right in that corridor of uncertainty. Get your 50p head on the end of that cross and make sure it's in the back of the net. Like I said, though, all about that delivery from McGuinness. 4 minutes from time, though, there was chance for Scunthorpe as Morris came forward, putting a great cross. And there's another one from the top draw in terms of headers, as they actually pull one back. A really good header as well to find the back of the net. And that is with McNamee back in the sticks. So it's our full strength, pretty much, in terms of our goalkeeper. And yet, he was beaten by that. So, not really convincing in the way we defended that one. But at least we did the damage originally. We were able to go 2-0 in front, and it mattered because that was how the game would end. 2-1 victory to the boys, meaning we go back to winning ways, and more importantly, we make sure that we still hold that gap of 4 points at the top, regardless of the Preston result. We weren't interested in that. It was all about doing what we had to do. So a great result here. Gets us back to winning ways, keeps us top, and it just got a bit of momentum going. I've got to say, there is a lot of tough games coming up. We've got a very tight fixture list. I don't know exactly why that is. as we find the next big gem for this Grimsby Town side. Pedro Jesus from Brazil, a 17-year-old, overall 59-79 with potential of 70 to 94, ladies and gentlemen. A central midfielder as well. Alongside him, we promoted a few other players from our youth academy. This guy, Harris, 16 years of age, 6'3", reminds me so much of the two Ethans in the form of Cox and Shaw. Unfortunately, the one-star weak foot means I will not be using him in this side, though, unfortunately. I just can't bring myself to do it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. There's a few other players as well, and there is, of course, Jesus. 4-star skill moves, 3-star weak foot, already 65 rated when coming into the team. And he's got a really good free kick accuracy as well. So, bit of training to him. We're looking at potentially the next big thing from Brazil, I would say. But, ladies and gentlemen, for the final game of today's episode, having been top of the table, 4 points clear. As you can see, we've got the best away record in the league as well. Peterborough with the second best away record. I was quite surprised by that. So best away record in the league. Go into Blackpool in order to pretty much secure his championship football, I would say. That was their side. You can see Jay Spearing on the bench, importantly, and a few other players I recognise as well. But it was just it was weird, because I felt we were pretty much guaranteed 3 points. And that is never the mindset to go in with, because normally when that happens, something goes wrong. Something goes wrong. So, that is the side we had in terms of this one. Unfortunately, Mitchell Van Bergen not quite fully fit to start. So, again, it's another start for Donald Brennan on the left-hand side. We did have McNeil, though, on the right. And, again, I was so confident of these 3 points. So much so that when we created this first opportunity inside 10 minutes, I didn't know how we weren't leading. It came to Wes Thomas. I mean, get it on target. Get it on target. That's why, even though he was a top scorer in League 2 for us, I just don't think he has the quality to cut it in League 1. And he certainly hasn't got the quality to cut it in the Championship. So if we do go up, or I should say by now when we do go up, we are going to need to basically try and invest in another backup striker to Wes Thomas, because the guy just won't cut it in the Championship. And, I mean, all the confidence I had flowing through me was basically kicked out of me after this goal right here. Again, it's all about the delivery. The cross is brilliant. It's got the pace that you need. It's got the delivery on it. All he's got to do is direct that, and he does. But, for me, McNamee is beaten far too easily at his near post, and this is the main issue I've got. Not just with him. In the Brighton series, I've got it with Frankie Brown. Sometimes my goalkeepers are beaten far too easily at that near post. You've got to sort it out. As a goalkeeper, it's the worst thing in the world, getting beaten at your near post. Shouldn't be happening. So, 1-0 down after 33 minutes, and a little bit of controversy, ladies and gentlemen. Referee pointing to the spot, which was never ever in a million years a penalty. I'll admit that right now. But way the game was going, 1-0 down, I was thinking, I have to put this in the back of the net. If I had any decency, I'd have missed this because it wasn't a penalty. But I didn't, and I wanted to score it. So I was like, nah, I'm 100% putting this in the back of the net. WOHOO scored one not so long ago against, I think it was Leicester in the FA Cup, away at the King Power Stadium. Went the opposite way this time, and it was saved. A less than convincing penalty from Tim Weah. Not what you'd expect from him. So still 1-0 down, trying to find a way back into the game. Ethan Shaw found substitute Van Bergen. This is how the game was going. What a save this is, by the way, from the Blackpool goalkeeper. I mean, I didn't know what to do at this point. Like, this was the final straw for me. I was like, we're not going to win this game. We're just not going to win it. Like, the way we're performing, finally get a good, really good opportunity, and he pulls off a save like that. But like I mentioned earlier, Van Bergen is so important to our cause here at Grimsby because he has the quality to pull that out of the bag. Blackpool 1, Grimsby 1, 66 minutes gone. I was relieved, to say the least. Unbelievably relieved, because when this happened, I genuinely was fearing that we weren't going to win the game. And obviously, depending on how the result goes at Preston, they could close the gap down to a single point with like 5 games to go. And we could have been looking at a situation where we started the episode like 8 points clear at the top of the table to potentially going back to 1. So I was so glad that we managed to actually get ourselves back in the game. But with 5 minutes to go, I've got to be brutally honest, this is completely my fault. But at the same time, I was a little bit frustrated. Originally, I just lost concentration. Didn't look back at the screen in time to when they put the cross in. But you'll notice what happens is, right, I then highlight the player I want. I start running towards the ball, and it didn't register my button click. It, like, you'll see, I think it might have been Cox on the near post. I tried so hard to actually clear the ball, but it just, like, literally didn't register the click. And he kind of, like, glitched out. And then that then caused McNamee to kind of glitch out as well. And then Spearing has an easy task of tapping the ball in. Watch from this angle. So I don't initially move my player, but then I come off the post. It wasn't. It was actually Shaw. it didn't register that I wanted to clear the ball. And then McNamee, like, I don't know what he's doing. Gets his angles wrong, and Spearing scores. And that was the end of the game, ladies and gentlemen. We lost to Blackpool 2-1. We had unfortunately been defeated. And that's going to be the end of the episode. So the gap is down to a point with Preston. We'll kickstart next episode off against Watford in the FA Cup semi-final. If you enjoyed this one, a like would be greatly appreciated. Though, guys, if you are new around here and like what you see, the subscribe button is down below. And I will catch you all again with another episode of the series very soon. Until next time, adios.